Welcome, welcome. I'm Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. And today we're going to be talking about manifesting on the Ascension path. So your spiritual journey, which is the true path to success. It's so funny that people are either looking up like success stuff and motivational stuff or spiritual stuff and not realizing that they're one and the same unless you're creating from the divine part of you as much as you can. What you create will be unsatisfactory, it won't last, it will crumble, or you could even have terrible results and manifest some things that you really don't like, because when you start consciously manifesting, guess what? All the content, the feelings, the emotions, the beliefs, the perceptions, the assumptions, your personality, everything that's inside of you is pushed out and reflected back to you. Now, it's already doing that. But when you're making conscious affirmations, conscious decrees, conscious prayers, just consciously trying to manifest something, well, guess what? If you are wanting to manifest, the next level of your career, let's say, yet you look at people who are more successful than you and you just can't help but feel a little bit salty, a little bit jealous, a little bit, how did she get her success when she looks like this or doesn't have that? How did that person get their boyfriend when they look like this, when they aren't like that? And we make these judgments inside of our head about, well, why do they deserve it when they're like that? Now, these, what feel like automatic feelings, they can be changed and they need to be changed. Like, let's be real, they need to be changed. So as you're watching this, please use the comments as your little notebook. Now, if you're on live, your comments might not be saved because I'm on my phone. I think that only does that for desktop. But if you're watching on the replay, do the same as well, because what's really important is that you're integrating this information and understanding that you do need to learn it time and 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 time again. Like, I spend hours studying spiritual law through a variety of sources. Some, that I used to believe in, I'm like, that's not really true, or that's true in it and this part isn't. Okay, and this correlates to experiences I've had in my life. And then I'll try certain things, like with Abraham Hicks. Like, she does teach great spiritual law, but the methods that she has, the techniques that she has for humans to actually manifest, not very good. Sure, if you're in a good place with it, if you're choosing an area where you have no blocks, no real blocks, like no real problems, fantastic, excellent, wonderful. But if you're choosing a place where you have some real money blocks, some real karma, some real generational curses, some real actual issues, then her work, and I experienced this firsthand, and not just with myself, but with clients that have come to me after trying her work, or people that I've just seen around, they were driven into a ditch trying to follow those methods, not quite understanding that it's very nuanced and you can't apply what she teaches to any form of actual negative trauma. Okay, and trauma is just trapped negative energy. We all have trauma, even if you had a great childhood. So even if you had an excellent childhood, you will still have had times where you felt lonely, where you felt misunderstood, where you felt like you had to be the best, so you had to squash things down, right? Otherwise you might not be accepted. So this is what we do as a child, and this is how we create these unconscious subpersonalities which are controlling the show. These are the parts of you that are making those decisions that feel like they're automatic. The parts of you that you think you should do something, but you just can't get yourself to do it. These are the parts of you that sabotage trying to protect you. Hi, Joanna. Welcome. Good to see you here. So we're talking about manifesting on the Ascension path and how it's so important to not just try to be positive all the time, even though funnily enough, that is a big part of it, but it's not about being positive as much as it is about being certain, about being grounded in the certainty of the spiritual truth that you create your reality, but not just you, God, the divine, infinite spirit, 0 point field, however you can get behind the divine is so necessary, because otherwise whatever we create really will not be lasting. It will be unsatisfactory. We need to create with the greater power, with the higher power, with the divine mind. So one of the things that happens is we set an intention and we start manifesting and we start desiring it, but there's so much different information and on different ends of the spectrum, like you have to take aligned action, and then another one is like, well, you don't really have to take any actions. Okay, well, they're both true. It's really important to understand that they're both true in a different way, and to be spiritually heightened, you really need to be able to think of to think from the paradoxes in life and in spiritual law. This is mastering duality through oneness. Yeah, so where you understand that it's not completely different things. They're different ends of the spectrum, like temperature. Like, we often think of hot as one thing and cold as another, right? They're two different things. You got hot and you got cold, but they're not different things at all. They're actually the exact same thing. They're temperature, right? So cold is just the absence of heat, just like light, just like dark is the absence of light. Yeah. So when we're thinking, oh, well, it's hot, therefore it can't be cold. I mean, we're not thinking that, but when you apply it to something else, it's hot, therefore cold can't exist. How can it be both? Well, it's both because they're on different ends of the same spectrum. Just like love and hate, they're actually on different ends of the same spectrum, using the one energy, the divine mind, infinite intelligence, the 0-point field, which many people like to call God. Now, when you understand that it's about thinking in paradoxes, then you start getting very curious about how the universe works. And you start seeing where on the spectrum of many, 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 many spectrums are you. So if it's a spectrum of, well, I want to manifest, but, you know, I've heard you don't have to take action, but yet you really do. Okay, well, what it is a lot of people, when it comes to taking action, they look at everywhere, all the things that you should be doing, right? Have you ever had that? I mean, I know I have, come on, where you feel like, okay, well, there are these things that everyone says you have to do, and everyone says that I have to be doing Instagram stories. Everyone says that I have to have a Facebook group. Everyone says that I have to, or for dating, everyone says that I have to do online dating, or that I can never do these, do these other things. And it's because what works for one person works for them because it's right for them. Hello, Oscar. And the truth is that it might not work for you, but the only way you'll know is if it feels right for you. Now, that's another deeper talk, right? Because what we think is right, we misinterpret because, and this is actually everything, our emotions speak to us to tell us whether they're true or false in comparison to how reality works. Okay, so I've got a couple of threads going on here. So the most important thing to understand is that when you say, I'm not good enough, and it feels really true, it actually isn't true, and it doesn't feel true, even though you think it feels true, but that's only because you're misinterpreting what it means. So there's an ultimate reality of how the universe really works and of who you really are. You are ultimately, at your core, a divine being full of love. Now, when people start doing inner work and they start going deep, you're going to find a rotten layer. We all have this rotten, evil, vile layer. And now a lot of people aren't going to like to hear that. You're like, well, I don't. Well, then you especially do. Okay, because that means that it's so repressed. If you can't see it, it's so repressed because you're not willing to look at it, because you don't want to be bad, that you're not willing to look at your jealous parts, the parts of you that actually hate, the parts of you that, if it could get away with it with no repercussions, might actually kill. You know, they're in there, deep down, hidden underneath the layers of what's socially acceptable and of who we want to be, and even the conscious work that we've done that helps us ascend into higher realms and levels, which is fantastic. It can also create that split, because as you do grow, you still can leave these other parts behind that later on you have to go and do cleanup on. Like, for instance, now I'm an extremely naturally loving person, whereas I used to have a lot more hate and a lot more resentment and a lot more cynicism and all these sorts of things that I had to work through. I've been on a spiritual path for 20 years, since I was 22, and I just turned 43. right? So it's been a lot of and energy work I've been doing to heal my PTSD and the chronic health issues that I had that were quite severe. I healed that all naturally. Hello, gorgeous, welcome. Oh, I'm in England too. I'm not from England, but I'm okay. It says it has reconnected. Okay, let's do this. So, what was I saying? I was saying a few things actually. So let's go back to some of the things. So the emotional scale. Okay, so this is emotional guidance system. It's like the GPS for your car, really. And there's one thing that you really want to absorb every single day until you feel it and see it emotionally. It is this, because your emotional guidance system will tell you if what you're thinking is in alignment with how God sees you or the divine mind. You can think of it differently. As long as you have faith in the higher power that we're all made up of, who wants the best for you, right? It doesn't even matter if we have it bit wrong. Like, as long as we have this strong faith in good things happening, it will happen. Right now, you may have things having to come up to clear, to face, so that because, maybe you have some negative, discordant aspects to your personality and some feelings that just block it from happening and don't allow your manifestation to happen. But that's why we do the shadow work. That's why we do the emotional clearing, which is what I've been guiding my clients through for many years now, to with incredible results in multiple areas of their life. Now, how do you know with your emotional guidance system, with the GPS, whether to turn left or right? Right? So you're in your car, you set the place that you're going. Let's say you're in Texas, you want to drive to Florida. You put Florida into the GPS, and you don't need to look at every single corner on the way, which, going back to taking action versus not taking action when you manifest, well, you don't need to know every single step along the way, do you? All you need to do is trust your GPS. You hop in the car, or you start walking. Well, if we're doing the Texas to Florida analogy, you hop in the car, and the GPS tells you to go left or right. Okay. Now that's your emotional guidance system, except with your emotional guidance system, you have to start driving. You have to start going first. And then God, the divine, infinite spirit will self-correct. It will correct you as you go. So you have to be willing to take those missteps. But if you're really tuned in and you understand how your emotional guidance system works, which I'm about to tell you, and it's going to be really easy, but easier said than done, then you will self-correct. So with your emotional guidance system, it's really simple. Did you ever play, when you were a child, the game Hot and Cold, where your friend is looking for a thing and you say, oh, you're getting warmer. Oh, warmer. And they walk in the opposite direction. Oh, no, cold. And then they start going down the steps and you're like freezing cold. You're in Antarctica. They start going up the steps. You're like warmer. And then they go around the corner and they're coming right to it. And you're like, oh, scalding hot, lava hot. And you're like, hot, hot, hot. And then there it is. They found the thing because you gave them the directions of hot and cold. It's literally that, just with heavy and light. So how to explain this? Because obviously it is just that easy, but there will be some parts of you, if you are attuned to survival mode, where you are used to having to protect yourself and defend yourself, and you feel like the world is a dangerous place because it has been for you. So of course you think that way. Then your intuitive system is going to be a bit off. Okay. So this is again why you do the shadow work, because as long as you have an unregulated nervous system, as long as you have, levels of PTSD in your system, which everyone on earth has. It's not normal to be in snappy moods. It's not normal to project our stuff out onto other people. Sure, it's normal, but it's not natural. It's not how it's meant to be. So until you clear that, it may be a little bit off. But here's another way you'll know. So if you've got two options, and often there's one option that you really want to do, but maybe this option, you can't really just naturally, just think about it and naturally imagine a future. You just know you want it. You maybe can imagine being there, but you can't really imagine the next steps just easily. Okay, but then let's say you think of the other option, and it might even be the option that you think you don't want to do. It could be either. And then you start imagining it, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 ideas, visions. I said ideas, visions, and knowings of the future will drop in. You'll just be able to see it. And it will feel still, solid, ease. Even if a part of you then can also think about it and say, I don't really like that. I don't want to do this. It will have all these problems. But yet, boom, 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 boom. You can imagine it. And it feels solid, still easy. But yet the other one sort of has darkness after it. You don't know. You're like, but this is what I really think I want. But yet it feels a bit shaky. You can't really get the boom, 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 the images incoming very easily. Well, that shows you that that's not the right direction. And then the shakiness, that's the heaviness. That's the contraction of the feeling of your emotional guidance system, the GPS, telling you to go in a different direction, right? That's the self-correction. And then when it feels lighter, more expansive, solid, like a lake on a still summer's day, that refreshing feeling. Even if you can bring in other parts, and you can bring in all the reasoning, the logical mind, well, it's not good because of this, and I don't want it because of that, and all these other things, but there'll be this sense, and especially if you drop down into your heart, there is a place within your heart that is connected to every dimension in the multiverse. And you can go in and you can have a maelstrom of emotions flooding through you. But if you give yourself the permission to just pause your thoughts, even if just for a few seconds at first, and drop down into the center and the bottom of your heart and just feel around, then you will find a spot of peace, all right? Of inner peace. And peace can feel like nothing. Peace can feel boring. If you are used to, like I was, very high levels of anxiety, of stress, reactivity, well then, as soon as you start feeling peaceful, you're going to think there's something wrong. You're going to think you're bored. You're going to think, what's happening here? And you're going to think something needs to happen emotionally. But here's the thing. You've got two options. You can either have it be emotionally exciting, right? With all the chaos, all the anxiety, all the ups and downs, the finishing tasks at the last second, which, let's be real, I still do. But still, like, you can either have the emotional turmoil and have it be exciting, which you may not even think that you are addicted to it or that you like it, but if it keeps happening, there's a part of you that does. Or it can be what at first seems more boring, but creates really amazing things in your life. This is inner peace. Now, as you start getting more peace, which can also feel like neutrality, openness, expansiveness, nothing, boredom. This is actually the genius state too, by the way. When you let yourself get into boredom, like if you don't pick your device up straight away and you just let yourself like literally that. You're literally sitting around bored, like twiddling your thumbs, twiddling your fingers, like what? Something will pop in, and this is where your genius lives. Now, note to self, I need to do this more often, for sure. But I teach as I go. I teach as I learn. This is something that I've known for a long time. I have practiced. I have gotten a lot better at it. But there's always another level to drop in. So I'm not here to show up as this perfect example. I'm more here to inspire you and alchemize you, help you to alchemize the actual negative feelings. But on the first level, I'm here to inspire you, because if someone that's been such a mess like I am and, still doesn't have everything together, if I can do this, if I can show up in my business, if I can heal others, if I can make a difference in the lives of people all around the world, which I have in the many, then so can you. You don't have to feel completely worthy. You don't have to feel completely good enough. You don't have to know what you're doing. You just have to have the courage and the determination to try, and to know that if you don't try, you're going to just make yourself more miserable. So whatever level you are, whatever you're doing in the world, just know that there is always another level to drop deeper into. And it's always the same level. More trust, more faith, more listening to your inner voice, more self-connection. Now, when it comes to trust, it's really important to understand that doesn't mean just trust everyone. No, don't trust people so much. Trust yourself and trust God, the divine, infinite spirit, the universe, if you prefer, the voice of love. 0 point field. Trust in that. Program yourself through reading spiritual texts like the Pathwork, the 258 lectures. Okay, very, very powerful. And I have a lot of proudness to say that a lot of the methods that they teach about how you have to dissolve your negative emotions to ascend spiritually is exactly what I've already been doing for years. Because, and it's a complex process. It's not just like, oh, do this one thing. It's like, no, do all these different things. And that's what I teach. So if you want to know how to actually up level, like literally reprogram your what's it called, your mindset, your nervous system, it's like all the things you want. You want to be motivated, you want to be successful, you want to be happy, you want to have great ideas, you want your nervous system to be regulated, you want to feel good, you want to fortify your emotions so that you can handle life and business and work and stress and people without actually getting stressed, right? Because stress is your response, your perception to the situation. It's not the actual situation. It's why some people don't get stressed, and in one situation another person can be in the exact same situation and they get stressed. It's their perception. And so they used to call me Stress. It used to be my nickname like 24 years ago. I don't know, when I was like 19. I'm 40, just turned 43. And they used to call me Stress because I'd be like, and I would swear to you black and blue at the time that I wasn't stressed. I'd be like, I'm not stressed. I was stressed. I was panicked, nervous, wreck of a mess. Like, it's just what it was. Okay, so what threads haven't I fully covered yet? Okay, so the emotional guidance system, light is true, heavy is lie. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not happening in your life. So it might feel like, but what do you mean it's a lie? I can see it. I'm thinking, that this thing's not working and it's making me feel bad and it's not working. Or, I'm feeling really bad that this person is betraying me, but they are. So it's not that it's not happening. It's not that it's not happening. It's that there are two realities. Well, but in this way, there are two realities. There is the ultimate reality of how the universe works. And you have to feel and think in alignment with how the universe works for it to work for you. There is literally a set of thoughts you are meant to be thinking. There is a way that we're meant to be thinking. And it is not the way that most people are thinking. And it does take a lot of training, a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, and a lot of commitment to do it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you some like soft sell just to be like, oh, just do the bare minimum. Sure, do the bare minimum if you want. And that is great. Honestly, it's better than nothing. But the bare minimum will one day have to turn into a consistent practice of inner work where you look within yourself daily, where you connect with the divine, where you, even if it's, you see it as the voice of love within you, right? Most of my clients really are fully all on board with either divine or God, and, open to more of a fluid approach than just the dogmatic, like it's just this one way. It's like, no, there is a bigger world when it comes to God and the divine than most people realize. And until you are willing to turn inwards and look at how your emotions are creating the situation, how did you create the fact that this person just betrayed you? Okay? How did you create the fact that your partner is in a bad mood? Now, we do co-create, but at the same time, if you aren't being treated well by someone, now that doesn't mean that you just put up with it. In fact, it's often because you put up with it that's creating it, because you have feelings of like, well, if I stand up for myself then they'll reject me. Now, what's that feeling? That's a feeling of fear, insecurity, doubt, victim-mindedness, all stuff that I've shared in and worked through, and on lower levels for that specifically, continue to work through on lower levels. But it used to be massive. It used to be a big part of my personality. And I can tell you, when I started looking, okay, well, this person is rejecting me. This person is treating me bad. This person just did this horrible thing to me. This person is ignoring me. La, 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 la. What is it in me that's creating? We shine out rays of information, rays of light that can be, clouded? Like, love can get twisted inside out. It's always love, even when it's hate, because it's on the same spectrum. So it's always a divine energy. But because as humans, we're allowed to use the energy however we are, right? However we want, yeah. But we use it by who we are, by what we know, by how we're being, by what we expect. And so if you expect that if you speak your truth, someone's going to reject you because they did, so of course you feel that way as a human, and that's why it's tricky, that's why it takes inner work, well, then it's your job to find that part of you and then heal it. Now, that's a whole conversation itself. That's a whole entire video in itself, right? And that's exactly what I teach my clients. Now, I just wrote out a little method. Where is it? It's on Facebook and Threads. On one of my posts, I might put it here of a method of transmuting negative emotion. But as I say in the post, it's sort of like if you want to cook a complicated meal. Now, you can have all the ingredients. I can give you the ingredients. You can try to cook the meal, but it doesn't mean that you'll actually cook the best meal ever, right? But it's still important that you try to cook the meal because you got to eat, right? It's the same with this healing work. You still got to try it on your own at home. We do all still need our own home practice. I would never say just work with me, just work with a healer. But I would also never say only ever do it on your own. Only ever do that, because I've had a lot of help. I've paid many thousands of dollars to do that, and it was all worth it. Like, some was better than others, but I can tell you, like, the immersive stuff that I did with my teacher, Sonia Sophia, whose method I use and have developed and built upon to make it sort of more somatic. And I really focus a lot more on the spiritual side, although she does focus more on the spiritual side than most people that do EFT tapping. I do a breathwork tapping that I finally think I've landed on a name. I've tried so many different names over the years, and I've landed on, you ready? Somatic illumination. So somatic is the mind-body connection. So it's not just body work. It's not just talk therapy. It's talk therapy mixed with breath work, mixed with certain types of movements that get the trauma, the negative energy out of your system, mixed with calling in the divine help, with decreeing how it will be, which are like affirmations, but combined with prayer, with facing the negative aspects, facing the vile parts of you, bringing up the parts of you that you freaking hate. But you only hate them because you want them to be better. And so then you find a way to have compassion to the part of you that hates. You find a way to forgive yourself for the part of you that you can't forgive. And I can help you do that. Okay. Quite simply, if you want to try it at home, you forgive yourself for not forgiving. That's it. The process in itself can take a good hour, but it can even be many sessions to fully forgive some things. It can take years for some people, like if you have to forgive a certain person, but at the same time, it all makes a difference. It's not like, oh, I start here and then it takes years to get anything. No. You get big results all along the way with positive life shifts and things changing and constantly up leveling and growing. It's just that we're complex human beings and there's always another level to go. Now, that doesn't mean we have to constantly be going to the next level. We're allowed to plateau. We're allowed to enjoy where we are. But then at some point, something's going to come up, and it's going to be a spiritual growth opportunity. And this spiritual growth opportunity is going to suck. You're not going to like it. You're going to complain about it, and rightfully so. But as soon as you get over yourself, which I've had to do many a time, as soon as you decide that you're so sick and tired of your story, you're so sick and tired of complaining about this, you're so sick and tired of holding on to this anger, what's the saying? I don't know who it's by, but the saying is holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Now, you also can't just repress it and be like, oh no, I'm happy. And then every time the thought comes up of like, oh, I hate that person or whatever it is, or, I'm not good enough for this, or you go and you push it down. I can't think that. That's not positive. And you try to escape it. No. When really, you got to sort of invite it up and in. Okay. Now, sometimes you don't have time for that. You just don't have time for that. You don't do it every second of every day. But at the same time, it really does help a lot to allow yourself to bring up those negative parts of you like they're a friend, because it's subpersonality, and I can teach you how to actually find the force field of it, the walls of it. So, and this is what turns into physical pain. This is what turns into anxiety. This is what causes all the problems in your life. It is. You find a problem, and then you find how you feel about the problem, and then you dissolve the feeling and how you see it, and then you upgrade your reality in alignment with spiritual law, which is what I spent tens of thousands of hours studying, because I just am obsessed with it. And so I help you learn spiritual law, plus spiritual law also comes from within you. So the more loving you become, because it's an intelligence, the divine mind is an intelligence. It's the most intelligent way in the universe. So the more loving you are, you have a new way of thinking, and you naturally think in alignment with divine law. But all of these sources still teach that we need outside lessons, like what I'm teaching you can learn from me, plus other sources that I can recommend if you want, whatever you're drawn to. Just, learn how to experiment with it, so you're not just being told, oh, what's that? Oh, yoga's demonic. Oh, okay, I've never done it. I've never had a Kundalini, what's it called? Kundalini rising. I've never had any experience with any of that, yet it's evil. It's like, are you sure? Like, have you actually done it? Have you actually had like a Kundalini awakening? Like, do you actually know? And I have had a Kundalini awakening, and it wasn't through yoga. It was through energy work. It was through breathwork tapping, and it was the most profound, amazing experience ever. And all it was the opening of love rising up from my spine into my heart, bursting through my body, and I was able to feel love for myself for the first time. Now that's not demonic. Full stop. Right? Okay, because there's a whole thing going around if you don't know. Okay, so what else? Is there anything else that I need to touch on today? Have I left any threads unthreaded, unweaved? I think I might have. But, okay, so I've touched on the emotional guidance system. Light means it's more true. Okay, that's it. But it's not true to what you see in front of you. This is a thread. It's not true to what you see in front of you. It's true to how the universe really works. So you have to be willing to take the leap and start thinking and feeling the thoughts as though that were true, while not repressing the negative, but learning how to talk with it and walk it up. Now, I have created a special container coming up, which is my Quantum Keys 7-week manifesting through emotional healing and stress release program. This is my deepest healing in a group. Okay, so it's not, it's not as high cost as my one-to-one private coaching, Exponential Expansion, which is a 4-month journey where we go deep dive into your personal story. It's very powerful. So if you are an accomplished entrepreneur with a spiritual heart, you're purpose-led, you love making a difference in the world, but maybe you're sick of doing it from a place of stress. You're sick of doing it and sacrificing your relationships or your health, and you just know that life can keep getting better and better and better and better, but you don't know how good it can get until you do the work to get there. Then my one-to-one is definitely for you. We will help you communicate more effectively, not just with a script, although I will give you scripts. It will be from the core of your being. You'll just be more loving. You'll be able to find the parts of you that are insecure, that still feel like you can't or you're not good enough, and the parts of you that attaches your worth to your income. If you don't reach another income level, then you secretly feel like you didn't do good enough and maybe you're not worthy after all. These are toxic blocks and they need to be eradicated. Okay, and that's what I can help you do. I help my clients manifest the most incredible things, so many that they didn't even ask for. And now that might sound, why would I want that? Well, because it's amazing, right? Things that you didn't even imagine start coming true because you are designed to naturally be magnetic to your desires. And when we clear the blocks in your way, we don't know what will show up for you specifically, because God the Divine will give you exactly what you really need at that time, which you want, right? So many of my clients have actually gotten interviews on TV. I've had actresses come to me that couldn't get roles and they got roles after they came to me. I've had many an entrepreneur come to me, grow their followings, and then blow up with their clients. I've had one client come to me, had agoraphobia, anxiety, and chronic pain. I healed all that in her. While we healed that, her Instagram blew up from 350 to 27,000 within the 3 or 4 months we're working together. It then since went up to 35,000 last time I checked. Not just followers, engaged buyers that actually bought her because she bought from her designs because she sews beautiful clothes. And so in the process, the true prize wasn't even the money, which she now is making way more money than she ever made before. It's not the followers. It's not any of that. It's the fact that she feels happy and abundant and loving and joyful and more in control of her life than ever before. And sure, then that creates these other things in your life, but everyone does it top down. Like, we have to market so that, for people who want to make money, we have to market for people who want to be in a relationship. We have to market for all these things that aren't the thing. Yes, these things will happen 100% when you work with me. They will 100% happen. But if you're so attached to needing it to be happy, it's going to be a lot harder and going to take a lot longer, but it's still worth it, because I will take you into the right places so that you can deprogram and connect with the divine and be more loving, which is what makes you magnetic. So if you want to know about my one-to-one exponential expansion, just send me a message. No pressure. I do not talk people into things. I don't want you to do it if you don't want to do it. Like, just that simple. But I will find out your situation, and if it is the right fit for you, I will tell you, because I am deeply committed to helping as many people on this planet to transform their inner world, and therefore the world around us as possible, because when we heal ourselves, we heal everyone. I've helped clients of mine that came to me for business, for visibility fears, things like that. One client I'm thinking of in particular. And we helped her. I helped her with her fears of being on social media. I helped her with her blocks of going forward in her business and signing up to certain courses. And she did all that. But the real win was that in the process with my one-to-one, I found out that she had stomach spasms and she couldn't leave the house hardly without having a horrible acid reflux stomach spasm attack that she had for 4 years. And the doctor said that they couldn't fix it. They couldn't fix it. In fact, they were giving her something that was worse, made it worse. Now, I suggested she came off that. I know that you're not supposed to speak for things like that, but I know what I'm doing when it comes to healing the body, especially with things like this. So I had to come off it. I told her what to do instead. She went on that, and she kept doing my energy healing work on her business stuff, while I was also weaving in what I knew needed to happen in our sessions to alchemize the negative parts of her that were causing the chronic health issue. And after, I think it was 3 months, we got together. Like, we've been doing sessions regularly, but then I hadn't seen her for 2 weeks. After 3 months, like, we hadn't seen her for 2 weeks. And then I said to her, so how are your stomach spasms? And she went like this. She's not the first person that done this, okay? She went, oh, I forgot about them. Someone that was 4 years, she couldn't even sleep laying down. Every morning when she woke up in panicked fear, which I used to do when I had my chronic lung disease, actually, 12 years and years ago. I had it most of my life, but in 2011, I healed it with this same technique that I share that also helps you manifest, that also helps you in relationships, that also helps you in your business. And yeah, I haven't had an issue since. But anyway, so all these sorts of things, and then she completely forgot that she had it. And it's because it's like, we just clear that part of you completely. So it's just not there anymore. Same with back pain, same with all this sort of thing. So if you're not so concerned about any chronic pain issue, although chronic people can heal chronic pain doing my other stuff, actually it can happen. It's just, not 100% guaranteed, because you're not going to be working directly on it. You're going to be working more on your emotions, on your business, on your visibility fears, on your fears of judgment, on your safety levels. How safe do you feel to handle those next levels of success, etc., etc. We're going to clear all those things in the way in my Quantum Keys 7-week intensive. Now, this is a 2,000 pound program if you pay in full, or there is a payment plan. And I swear, this is priceless. Like, you will see your life as before Kai and after Kai, because my work gets into places where most people don't, because it is so dynamic. We do breathe. We use so much breath work and talk therapy and divine faith-based prayer that not only do we rewire your subconscious, we deprogram you as well, so you're more conscious and you think from the God force more. Like, this is real and so exciting. So if you want to get into Quantum Keys, we are about to start. So this is one of your last chances to get in. I'm not sure on the exact date, but it's going to be within the next week or so. So send me a message if you do want one of the final seats. You will have coaching from me in the group. I'll be there 5 days a week for you. So you'll actually have me as your coach. You're welcome to use it as much as you like. I'm thrilled when people actually use the group coaching side of it and don't just do the actual sessions live with replays. And these go deep. These will be so powerful for you. So make sure you drink a lot of water if you do join. I'll even give you my recipe for an electrolyte water drink, which is pretty simple. And yeah, so I'm Kai Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. Please let me know your highlights and takeaways from this. And thank you for being here live. And to everyone here on the replay, thank you as well. So if this has helped you as well, please share. If you're here live and you want to share, you may have to wait till it's, rendered. Anyway, the more we can get this work out to people, the better, because I have a way of explaining things, I'm told, and I see it, that just drop things into people's minds that they couldn't understand from anyone else. Not like there's no one else, but it just tends to happen. You know what I mean? And then I'll zoom across someone's Facebook feed one day because one of my clients or followers shares it. And then all of a sudden they start working with me and their entire life changes. And then even sometimes parents come to me and their child heals by them just doing the work. Like, this is real because we are so psychically connected. If you understand how entanglement and the quantum field works and how it actually, the amount of miraculous things that I see that are supposed to be impossible, like, you know, having like having PTSD and healing it, having agoraphobia and healing it, having chronic health issues and healing them, healing yourself, and then your mother all of a sudden changes her personality and you become closer than ever before and you never told her anything that you were doing. Like, this happens all the time. So if you want part of this, send me a message. We can have a chat to see if it's the right thing for you, or just let me know if you want to jump in and I can send you the link. And yeah, I cannot wait to share it with you. So you have a wonderful day, and just remember that you really do create your reality, but you must drop into your heart multiple times a day. So let's do that to sign off. So put your hand on your heart. If you're not driving, close your eyes. We're just going to take 3 breaths as you pause your thoughts on every inhale. Relax your face. Ready? Relax our shoulders. Come down into your heart. Feel around in your hand, in your heart, behind your hand. Pause those thoughts. Breathe in your own time. One more. And pause. Hold at the top. Relax it all. And let it all out. Come down into your heart big time. Now imagine a beautiful white light is glowing in your heart. You can even call forth the divine, whichever words you like, whether it's the universe, God, the divine, infinite spirit, divine mind, supreme intelligence, higher self, if you prefer, Holy Spirit, it doesn't matter. You use your word, okay? So let's say, infinite spirit, I call you to come through me with love. Now breathe that in, imagine it, pretend it. Relax, don't try to like squeeze it. It just happens naturally. And now you can say, and you promise when I call upon you, you will answer. I've been going through some things lately, and think of what they are. And I ask for your help, God, divine, infinite spirit. Help me organize and master my emotions, so I can have the right desires, thoughts, and feelings. Be of service in a way that fills me up. Show me the truth, show me the way. I decree it is done. And feel and imagine that bright white light is getting bigger, it's expanding, it's flowing. I decree it is done in this hour in full power. Now take a breath into your heart, take your time, and very gently, like don't tense up your body, just, you can tense your heart a little bit, but relax your shoulders, relax your face, don't, just go, Imagine that you're surrounded from your heart, coming from your heart, surrounded in beautiful light. Imagine a beautiful tube of light coming all the way from the sky above, down around you, whether you see it or just know it, feel it or pretend it. Send it down to the center of the earth. Feel the white light or imagine it. And say, I do allow God full activity in my life. Now use your words if you want. Agree with it. And if you hear like a no, don't worry about those. Just say, except I do, and then repeat it again. I do allow God full activity in my life. All the divine, infinite spirit, universe. Big deep breath. Now you can imagine a beautiful violet flame coming from your heart, coming from the center of your heart, and just flowing out, whether you see it, whether you see the color or you just know it. Don't worry about it. Just imagine. And now you're in a big tube of violet light inside the white light. And imagine that it's like your aura and it's got little ribbons coming out of it. These are like, you know how like the sun does solar flares and it's like little ribbons coming out of it, but more like literal ribbons. And now send it out into the earth and wish everyone happiness and wish for everyone to be free. I wish for happiness for all and freedom for all. And send it out. Just imagine. And us doing this together is going to amplify the power exponentially. Let that energy come back to you just naturally. Now you can also call on archangels, ascended masters, all these sorts of things. But just now bring it to your heart and say, I decree it is done in this hour in full power. I decree it is done in this hour in full power. And so it is. Okay, now you have to imagine it. So imagine how God, the divine, infinite spirit could fulfill it for you without being attached to how it's fulfilled, right? So let's say that you ask for certain problems to be overcome. What would the solution look like? Don't look like all the steps on the way. Just look at the solution. Imagine where you're asking for a car. Like imagine that you're sitting in the car and excited, go, actually do the thing with your face. Oh, go like that. Did you imagine for a healing, for a relationship, for some money? Okay, maybe see the money in your account. Maybe my partner and I, we high five every time money comes in. So I imagine high fiving my partner and showing him my account. I imagine the things that I'll actually spend it on. Now, something that I also like to do is once you've imagined that, just think them through. The more divine love you can feel, the better, or neutrality is okay too. Imagine, there's a sort of little step that you can do as well that I love to do where you imagine a white cloud and it's like the screen of reality. And you imagine this thick white cloud and it gets bigger and bigger or more thicker and thicker every time you imagine it. And you can imagine your desires on that. And then, whether you've done that or not, don't worry about it. Just imagine you're sending all the way up into the heavens. Because the way we're designed, even though God is also at our center, there is like this, the tube of light has a portal above us into the other dimension, however that works. But you just imagine it. Just send it upwards. Send it up like you're sending a gift. Like a parcel. Here you go. Here's my request. And now trust, have certainty. It is done. If you need help having certainty, I can help you with that because you can't fake certainty. Like, you can't fake it. You just can't. You can talk yourself into it though. Now just nod your head and say, it is done. Yes. Okay, so I cannot wait to hear from those of you who want to connect with me, even if it's just to talk about spiritual teachings, to tell me your spiritual beliefs, ask about, just ask me questions about how the universe works, how healing works, how to alchemize negative emotions, all these sorts of things, how to overcome negative self-talk, whatever it is. I can create content around questions that you have. And if you do want to go further, then we can talk about that too. Okay, gorgeous. If you want to jump into quantum keys, I'll put it in the, comments, the description. It's at spiritualsuccessjourney.com/quantum keys. spiritualsuccessjourney.com/quantum keys. You can go and get your seat right now if you so desire, or send me a message with any questions. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you soon.